All right, let's write linear equations from situations and graphs. So the first problem, we have a graph, okay? Now, how do we write these linear equations? We're going to put them into slope-intercept form. In case you don't remember what slope-intercept form is, it is simply y equals mx plus b. All right, now the next thing we're going to want to do is determine our slope. So how do we find slope? We can just do rise over run. Or we could also do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. In this situation, we're just going to do the rise over run, but either method works just fine. Let's find two perfect points. Here's a perfect point, and out here, there's a perfect point as well. Let's see what our slope is. We go -1, -2, and then over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So our slope looks like it's -2 over 5. Okay, let's delete all this other extra stuff. And then let's find our y-intercept. Y-intercept is simply where does this line hit the y-axis? And it looks like it just hits it right here. What is that point there? Let's count. Let's see. This is 0 and 0. This is 1, 2, 3. So the y-intercept is at y equals 3. One more thing in case you don't remember from a previous video or you did not watch it. M stands for slope. B stands for y-intercept. So we already have our slope and we have our y-intercept. So let's go ahead and plug these into their corresponding letters. I'm going to delete this m and just going to put -2 over 5. And then I'm going to delete the b and I'm going to replace that with 3. And that is all we have to do in order to find our slope and our y-intercept from a graph. Pretty simple. All right, now for this next one, it says the cost, I'm going to move this up. Okay. The cost of 30 square yards of carpet is $1,800. The cost of 40 square yards is $2,600. Put this information into slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's break this down into some steps, and that way it'll be easier for us to do and understand. The first step is we need to determine an x and a y. Why do we need to do this? Well, if it were in a graph, we would already be able to see what our x and y's are, but since it's just a few sentences, we don't get to look at that stuff. So we have to figure it out for ourselves. Let's just say the amount of square yards, so in this case it would be 30 and 40, these are going to be our x's, and then let's say the prices are going to be our y's. So we have 30, 1,800. And then our second one, what do you think it's going to be? Simply 40 and 2,600. All right, so now that we've determined an x and a y, we can cross that off our list. And now we need to find the slope. So we do know that we can do rise over run when we have a graph. However, we don't. So we need to use our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I've mentioned before, it does not matter if you want these to be your x1s and y1s or if you want these to be your x1s and y1s. As long as you stay consistent, it does not matter. So how do we do this? Let's make this our x1 and this is our y1. This is going to be our x2 and this is going to be our y2. Now all we have to do is simply apply this little formula. So y2 is 2,600 minus y1 is 1,800 over x2 is 40, x1 is 30, and now let's simplify that. 2,600 minus 1,800 is 800, and then 40 minus 30 is 10. We can simplify this, simplifies down to just 80, Whoops, that was not the eraser. So we know our slope is now going to be 80. Okay, pretty easy enough. Just going to delete this to make some more room. M equals 80 because slope is represented by the letter M. We can go ahead and cross this off our list because we've already done it. And now it says put slope into slope-intercept form. So what is our slope-intercept form? We wrote it earlier in the first example. It is y equals mx plus b. What is our slope? M is our slope. M equals 80. So we're going to delete this M and just put 80. All right, we've done that. We can cross that off our list. Substitute values for x and y. So I guess I should not have deleted them, but I'm going to write them again. We said that it's going to be 30 and 1800, and our other value is going to be 40 and 2600. Simple. So we need to substitute these values for x and y. Which one are we going to use? Can we use this one, or are we going to use this one? Well, the answer to that question is it does not matter which one you choose. I'm just going to pick the one on the left because that's just the one that I chose to use. So we're going to substitute those in. This is our y, and here is our x. So I'm going to delete those and simply replace them with the corresponding numbers. Y we see here is 1800, so I'm going to put 1800 there. And then x used to be here, but now it's not, so now that's going to be 30 times 30. Do we have anything for b? No, we don't, so we're going to leave that how it is. And as we see, we've already substituted our values for x and y, so we're going to cross that off our list. And the next thing we have to do is simplify this right over here. So let's go ahead and simplify. 1800 is still going to be 1800. I'm done with that. Equals, what is 80 times 30? I'll just do 8 times 3. That's 24. Add 2 zeros. So that's 24 with 2 zeros. And then plus b stays how it is, plus b. What do we do now? We want to get this b by itself because we need to fill in the b. So how do I get b by itself? I need to subtract this 2400 from both sides. 1800 minus 2400 is negative 600 equals b. Perfect. So now we know that b over here is just going to be negative 600. So let's go ahead and write our slope-intercept form one more time. And we can plug in all our values. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so we can just leave y alone because we're trying to put everything into slope-intercept form, so we'll leave that how it is. So y equals m is our slope, 80. X, leave that by itself because we're trying to put this into this form. And then plus b, we know our b is negative 600, so we're just going to say minus 600. And that is all we have to do. And that's our answer.